Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode that, honestly, makes me a little nervous to record. Today we're diving into the world of nuclear weapons, specifically the doctrines that govern their existence. Nuclear doctrine refers to a country's policies and strategies regarding the use, deterrence, and management of nuclear weapons. So, let's unpack this global game of very, very high-stakes chess. Alright, first things first, what exactly a nuclear doctrine? In the simplest terms, it's like a country's instruction manual for their nukes. It outlines when and how they might use them, but more importantly, how they plan to ever using them. The whole idea is built on this concept called deterrence. If you have enough nukes to obliterate your enemy, they'll be too scared to ever attack you in the first place. Some countries like China have a no first use policy, meaning they'll only launch their nukes if someone else hits them first. Others, like the US, are a bit more vague, reserving the right to use nukes preemptively if they feel threatened. So, who are the major players in this high-stakes game of nuclear poker? The US and Russia hold the largest stockpiles of nuclear weapons. The US favors a strategy of flexible deterrence, meaning they want options and might use nukes first if necessary. Russia focuses on strategic deterrence, which sounds less aggressive but has a history of nuclear saber rattling. China, with a no-first-use policy, projects an image of peaceful development but has a growing nuclear arsenal. And we can't forget about India, Pakistan, and North Korea, each adding their own complexities to the mix. So, are nuclear doctrines a good thing? Do they actually make the world safer? Well, it's complicated. The idea of mutually assured destruction has, so far, prevented any all-out nuclear war. But these doctrines also fuel a constant atmosphere of fear and distrust, leading to arms races and wasted resources. And then there's always the risk of miscalculation or accident. What happens if a radar system malfunctions, or a leader makes a bad call under pressure? It's a terrifying thought. And as if things weren't complicated enough, technology is constantly changing the game. We're talking hypersonic missiles that can evade even the most advanced defense systems, AI-powered decision-making tools that could potentially launch a counterattack before any human even realizes what's happening. The faster and more sophisticated these weapons get, the less time there is for diplomacy, for rational thought, for cooler heads to prevail. It's a lot of pressure to put on a bunch of algorithms, don't you think? Now let's take a step back from the geopolitical chess match for a minute and talk about the ethical implications of all this. Because at the end of the day, nuclear weapons aren't just abstract concepts or bargaining chips in a global power struggle. They don't discriminate between soldiers and civilians, between the guilty and the innocent. We have to remember what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the only two cities that have ever experienced the full fury of a nuclear attack. It's why organizations like the International Campaign to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, ICAN, are working tirelessly to eliminate them completely. So, where do we go from here? What does the future hold for nuclear doctrines and the world they shape? Well, it's not exactly a rosy picture. Geopolitical tensions are rising, new alliances are forming, and old rivalries are flaring up. The United States and China are locked in a struggle for global dominance. Russia is feeling increasingly isolated and unpredictable, and the threat of terrorism and rogue states acquiring nuclear weapons is ever present. We need to be having serious conversations about the future of nuclear weapons, about the risks they pose, and about the possibilities for disarmament. The future of our planet, of our species, might very well depend on it. Look, I know this has been a heavy episode, but it's important. Understanding nuclear doctrines, as terrifying as they may be, is crucial not just for nations but for humanity as a whole, because the future of peace is in our hands. We need to be informed and engaged citizens, demanding transparency from our leaders and supporting initiatives that promote peace and disarmament. Look into organizations like ICAN, educate yourself on the issues, and make your voice heard. Because the only way we're going to prevent a future where these weapons are ever used is by working together, demanding change, and building a world where they're no longer necessary.